You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of stuff to be passionate about, but everything goes off of rules, standards, protocol, regulations, like laws, a set of laws and standards, codes. And that's what I'm trying to tell niggas. Just as long as everybody do shit by the book, then we can refer to the book. You know. The problem is niggas want to go by their own little thing, and it's like, bro, that's cool. Niggas can do that, but until it's on the books, that's just your. You feel me? That's just your opinion. You know. And that's your sentiment. That's your perspective. You know what I'm saying? And so then there's a way you propose changes. You know what I'm saying? And improvements. There's a protocol to everything. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the orderly way to do it. Everything else is disorderly and it's confrontational. You know what I'm saying? Like there's don't get me wrong. There's a such thing as healthy conflict. You know, for sure. You know, you got people like a Eric where he think conflict is negative. And I'm like, no, conflict is a natural it's a necessity and it's natural as far as when it comes to change. You know? Like there's gonna like he thinks if there's a problem and there's a conflict, then something's inherently bad. And that might be true, but just because something's bad, eventually you can avoid shit all you want, but it's best to address everything, right? Because if we see something's wrong with something and we all just ignoring it, eventually, when one person doesn't ignore it, it's gonna ignite a fire. Like you know, so I'm just like everything gotta be addressed, my nigga. Whether you want to do it or not, nigga, it gotta get addressed. And that's what makes the qualification for niggas that are going to be the head of things. You know, like making decisions. Like with this shit, sometimes I gotta make decisions. Really, mainly my job, is to make the decisions that nigga reflect the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, as much as we want to do, if we can't eat, if we can't pay for it, it's all for nothing. So sometimes I make a decision and then I say, you know what, that shit gonna hurt us in the long run. So we might have to take a hit on public appeal, you know what I'm saying? On what niggas think. But one thing I understand is that time heals all. So I could say, hey, this is coming out on it. Like, I could say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But then if I do the numbers or if I see the landscape and I see that it doesn't make sense, I got to have the courage to say, fuck that. We're going to take the hit right now. But in the long run, it's going to be better. You know what I'm saying? And I just learned that from doing business because it's shit that I did 5 years ago that at the time I did it just in the spur of the moment. I did it to look good. You know what I'm saying? I did it for the attention, and attention is always good. And so we're in a space where, nigga, you got social media. We just in a space where you got everybody trying to be a boss, trying to be how I want to call that, like an authority on something, right? Because that's what you're doing when you making an account or you making a platform. You're considering yourself an authority of something, and with representing yourself and presenting yourself as an authority, that accompanies an obligation. So motherfuckers be like, you know, why you can't just, because they're trying to tell the people, hey, look no further. I'm here. I'm the person you need to listen to. I have the information. And all information, whether it's misinformation, disinformation, or real information, is going to affect all the affecting industries involved. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, everything's about a transaction, a conversion of whatever resources. So whether it's people's money and time, or it's people's donations, physical support, you know, people's ideological support, people's conversations, word of mouth, all this stuff is valuable and all this stuff is tangible and collectible. So it's like you gotta have a strategy. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we call logistics and politics and that kind of shit. So when we see niggas have positions of influence and then they not using it right, that's gonna make them, you know, the in the butt of conflict. So it's like this nigga got this position, and so he's kind of like afforded this responsibility, and he's abusing or neglecting his responsibility, and it's affecting XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a way to go about that. And it's mostly, you know, in an orderly society or orderly system or function, you present the information. So if I feel like, boom, this committee that selects the all-stars, they're not doing their due diligence, I gotta have, before I come and make that claim, I gotta have my evidence already lined up and say, well, this player here did this, and you know, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But we in a world where, you know, you can throw rocks at the throne. So you could be a nigga on Twitter, you could be like, oh, that's some fucking bullshit, fuck UIL, you know what I'm saying? But, and you can drive energy and attention, but it's like, it's too much of a risk to risk your reputation for that, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you're gonna have to bring more references. It's all about references, like a PowerPoint presentation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever did a PowerPoint presentation and your teacher like, where's the slide for that? And you like, nah, it's in the book, but they like, why it's not on the slide? Like, we can't see it. And you're like, nah, I'm telling you. But they like, yeah, we want to see it though. Was we supposed to just take your word for it? And it's like, yeah, you're supposed to take my word for it, but at the end of the day, that requires credibility and trust from people, you know what I'm saying? So these is ways in business, with all of this shit, you build your credibility. So that's why, do I, like, after the game, do I want to post, do I want to give all these niggas their highlights and shit for free? Yeah, of course I do, bro. Deep down inside, but at the end of the day, it takes money to build infrastructures. So at the end of the day, I want, like, I could give them their film, but I did that before and it didn't went left. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's better off helping them in the ways that I feel like they need to be helped. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just worrying about being liked. Because when people like you, they actually try to take advantage of you. When people respect you, they work with you and they take what they can get. So, but like I said, it's all about, for me, bro, trying to make a platform where we can have like more professional, productive dialogue around the shit I'm saying. And just create like a positive, friendly form of discourse around this shit. You know what I'm saying? Of like, like it's okay for you to think this player is better. It's okay for me to think they're better. But at the end of the day, the way, the responsible thing, the responsible way to assess and debate and analyze who's really better is to use empirical data, meaning things that are observational, numbers, statistics, video footage. And this is what niggas don't understand. Film is data because the film is what you use to get the data. You know what I'm saying? So a nigga could be like, oh, that's just a video. But it's like, no, in the video, I could show you how many times he missed his coverage, how many times he, you know what I'm saying? We can count and I can get my own stats. I could do stats my damn self from watching the video. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm like, but what am I gonna go? But I could go around from game to game preaching this to people. You know what I'm saying? Or I can build a platform where I can reach people and I could teach. But really, when I say teach, I just mean communicate. Like I'm just trying to tell somebody something that I see. You know what I'm saying? Because they might already know it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, a lot of this shit I'm saying, I already know. It's just I'll be having a lot of time from the outside in to look at this shit. You know what I'm saying? When you in shit, it's harder to see what's going on around it because you in it. You know what I'm saying? So when these people are spending this money and they at the games every day, they done seen these kids lose all these games. They like shit. You know, we just when somebody do something special, we'll do something special. You know what I'm saying? Instead of understanding the element of like inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like inspiration is a huge factor in everything. And that you know that from coaching and playing. You have to inspire people. Inspiration leads to motivation. You know what I'm saying? It's that relationship between motivation and inspiration of like, all right, once these niggas get motivated, we'll inspire. We'll inspire them. But it's like, no, you have to inspire people. It's a symbiotic relationship. Some things are motivated by necessity. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the end of the day, these kids need to go to college. They need to survive. So if you just waiting on them to do what they need, that's all they gonna do. People is gonna do, human nature is people is gonna do the best with what they got. So it's like if you go to these schools and you have one camera, if these niggas know they only getting their pics after the game, they gonna just play and then they gonna post their pics. You know what I'm saying? If niggas know there's a camera on this baseline, there's a camera on that baseline, what do niggas think the effect of playing on live TV or having, you know, big game coverage, like when the news is there, like that shit affects everything. How niggas is playing, if niggas is nervous, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure you seen when niggas just see you with the gimbal, they ain't got no idea what it's gonna look like on a specific, well, they don't know, you know, they have an idea of the kind of quality that's set up, you know what I mean? And so they're gonna be more aware, you know what I mean? So niggas might be like, oh shit, like me, when I used to go play at the big tournaments, I'm like, oh shit, it's a scout in here. Or even just the crowd being loud, you know what I'm saying? Or even just the niggas we was playing, I was gonna be more sensitive and aware of everything I was doing, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, we playing the dog catchers. Shit, let me be on point, you know what I'm saying? I was like, my awareness was already attuned and I was already up. So I'm noticing different things, like just basketball shit, like my defensive positioning, my agility, my attention to detail, you know what I'm saying? Like my awareness, my just more defensive shit, you know what I'm saying? You just more like, you more attentive to the amount of distance I'm covering with each defensive slide, you know what I'm saying? how much, the amount of space I'm giving my defender, you know, the amount of attention I'm paying to the driving lanes. Like, because when you plan a better team, it's like, okay, these niggas gonna be faster, so I need to be boom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, these is all elements and areas that exist, but it's just like, you know, these is areas of improvement. Like there's money being spent in these areas. That's what a solutionist or engineer come in and you say, look, y'all are already spending this money here. This is where, but then this is the amount of money that's being spent that's mismanaged. And you come to a business and you can say, that's like a management of information systems. Look, you guys are already spending this, but here's the money. Like companies pay other companies to come in and do an assessment of a financial assessment of, like, you know, their logistics, like what money is going to things that's, you know, could be going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And so as an independent company, as us in the production, we can come into different systems. Like even me, I seen this video of this old nigga throwing a football, and I'm like, that nigga throwing this, it's an old brew. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just seeing the engagement of the content, and I'm like, that's a business opportunity from a production standpoint of you to come in. And this nigga, he already got the idea, he got the vision, he just missing the top level professional production. You know what I'm saying? He already got the idea. You know what I mean? So all you have to do is just come in and enhance what he's doing to make it more marketable. You know, and so that's like what I'm talking about with Tally, where I'm like, bro, you already doing X, Y. You know what I'm saying? Like you already expending X, Y, Z, but you're only yielding A, B, C. You know what I mean? And it's just about whenever you can come to a nigga and make his business, the things that he's already doing, more efficient, you already gonna get your percentage. Because a nigga gonna pay you, he gonna break a piece of that off, because he already losing that money anyways. He might as well let you keep a piece of it to bring in more. You know what I'm saying? It's like paying a maid. Like this shit gonna already be dirty, so I might as well pay you, you feel me, to enhance whatever, you know, the efficiency of my routine or whatever, my responsibilities, you know, my standard and my condition. So it's like, it's the same thing with this basketball shit. It's like we gotta keep, as a company, you know what I'm saying, we gotta keep coming up with different ideas to affect the industry with our same resources. So I got a camera. This camera can come off this tripod, right? And it can go into a gym. Then it can go into another gym. It can film games. It can film the niggas training. It can film the niggas lives. It can film the niggas interviewing. You know what I mean? So that's a revenue generating. That's just an efficient asset right there. You know what I mean? It's multi-purpose. So then I could take that footage, I could put it here, I could put it there, I can market it here, I can market it there. So that's another asset. Then I could take that audio, then I could put it here, then I could put it, you know what I'm saying? And so it's all about just going and finding different ways and saying, all right, this is what we got. This is how it works. This is the value. This is how people are consuming it. This is how I could repurpose it. You know what I mean? And only focusing on that. Because once you establish value, then you got to start making money. You know what I'm saying? And you take that money and you put it into the maintenance and the overhead or whatever you got going in your system. So you say, all right, people want to pay us for highlights. All right, well, we got to find a way where we can make the highlights in a way to where people can pay us and we can put that money back into the business of scouting platforms. Because if we just only do highlights, eventually the business of highlights is going to take over our business of scouting. You know what I mean? Because that's what our brand association is going to be. And highlights, because highlights are more popular than scouting. But scouting film is more valuable than highlights. Because guess what? There's a more there's a real life market value for scouting film, for good scouting film. You know what I'm saying? Because it's less rare. I mean, it's more rare. You know what I'm saying? It's less common. So if I see, it's just reflective of reality in real society. If I see film on a really, really good player, he's a 1 in 3,000. A nigga could have a good day, and that could be his last good fucking game. You know what I'm saying? And what? It's just gonna go. It's just gonna trend on, you know, on Instagram Reels and be in the algorithm and the Explore page and shit. Like, we talking about real value. You know what I'm saying? A nigga's more likely to get a scholarship off of grainy huddle footage of him doing the right shit than he is. We talking about just the average player, and by average, than a souped up video with edits and dunking back. You know what I mean? Than a, you know, and that's just niggas knowing the industry. And so it's like when niggas be trying to send me, like even y'all sometimes, when y'all be trying to send me shit, and I'm just like, yeah, but that shit conflicts the industry we in. It's like I feel like a lot of times y'all get too much in the creative. It's like, bro, it's harder to make money in the creative market because it's more competitive. You get what I'm saying? It's like this. If you tell me, boom, all right, bro, I'm trying to take my boom pole and this and that the third to prolific prep and this and that the third. In my mind, risk assessment, I'm like, bro, you risking more shit going wrong than going right. Versus if you tell me, you know what, bro, I'm going to go down to the local YMCA. They ain't really tripping on niggas bringing their shit in here. And you know what I mean? I'm like, you better off testing it like there because it's more free reign. Versus you like, yeah, but if in your mind you like, yeah, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna get the footage, I'm gonna get the audio, everything gonna come clear, we gonna post it, they gonna repost it, boom, the page gonna blow up. That's best case scenario. So if that's best case scenario, that means everything you said has to go exactly the way you said for it to even work out that way. So then worst case scenario, you take all this shit up there, you more focused on that than you are the shit that's already proven and working, and you waste your time, energy, and effort with coming in with a plan that's already unrealistic. And while you're there, like, you know, and I'm saying this because, bro, we did this a bunch of times. You know how many times I show up, I'm like, we gonna super produce this motherfucker, this and that, and I end up being so fucking bummed out and so fried out that I'm not even able to react in real time, or all I can do is react in real time and get what's there and make the best of what we have. And I learned that going with FOA during the summer is like a lot of times you doing all this, then a nigga don't even play well, or niggas ain't sleep that night, or you know what I'm saying, or the referee was trash and it was, you know, the player was nervous. And so then you just learn, like, bro, you learn the value, you learn the cost and the value of every production. So every time we go film, I already know if we get in there late, I know how much footage we gonna get. I know the intensity the game is gonna be at. I know the amount of highlights this player might not get. You know what I mean? And that's why I tell niggas stick to the basics, because those are all the things you really have to worry about. So stick with a sample size and a population that you can handle, because all of this stuff costs money, time, money, and energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we walk in the gym, I already know what everything is costing. So I know what I'm walking in with and I know what I'm leaving with. So my job is to balance that. You know what I'm saying? And manage that and really optimize it. You know what I'm saying? So when I go to a game, a lot of times I already know the game gonna be trash, but my job is to make it look better than what it is so we can promote our market. Because I know the underlying factors. I know that, yeah, On paper, this shit looks good, but I done it so much, I know everything that's going to go wrong. So y'all got to start adapting that mentality. Is when you walk in a room, there's a lot of value of being able to walk in a room and comprehend everything that's going to go wrong. That's why they say what can happen will happen. What can go wrong will go wrong. Eventually, you know what I'm saying? And so that's how I look at it. If I see a player, okay, he got a good scholarship offer, okay, good. He's good on that, but I already be in my mind, you know what I visualize, bro? I'm gonna be real. I visualize that nigga going to that school and getting exposed. So I prepare for that. I plan for that, and I say, how can I help this kid prepare for the worst? That's my job. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like. That's my job. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if everything goes right, you good. That's up to God. You know what I'm saying? God willing, everything go right. You get to school, you work hard. If everything gonna go right, what the fuck you need me for? You know what I mean? Just to support and cheerlead, I'm already gonna do that anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have a wide open, you might beat your man, I might set the screen, you go up for the layup, I still need to what? I still need to crash the boards, just in case. If I'm on your team, if I'm out there, what else am I gonna do? Just watch you, cause what if you miss? You know what I'm saying? I could have helped you. You know, and it's harder for you to get your own rebound than it is for me to get your rebound. So it's just analyzing and understanding the game on that level of understanding. You're going to build the systems, and the systems have to benefit, function. Yeah, they have to function in the market you place them in. So if you want to say, boom, all right. So my job every day is to figure out, all right, how is this scouting platform going to help this strata? Like my brother, a lot of times he might be talking to me about such and such, such and such. I'm like, bro, that's too far out. Cause it's like if you want to know how you can help the motherfuckers that's not in your area, you got to be able to help the motherfuckers in your area. If it works, it works. You know what I'm saying? If it's gonna work over there, it should work right here. And so when I'm looking at something, I'm like, bro, that shit barely working right here. We need to fix something before we even, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to tell niggas. When you get paid, you get grants from the government. That's how the world works. When you can show people you'll do the dirty work and you'll do the things people don't want to do, that's how you get money, man. Because everybody want to do the fun shit, but when you make the hard shit the fun shit, you know, it's a brain hack, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? So, like with me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing all of this stuff with my physical equipment, but I'm like, I could be doing more. You know what I'm saying? Because I know more than an average nigga. So I'm like, I gotta find more ways to affect it, you know? So it's like, I look at things that I could have, you know, when I look at what somebody should have did for somebody, I look at, damn, could I have done it? And a lot of times the answer is, yeah, I could have done it. I just needed the time or the money, you know, I needed to get paid to do it. And so then when I see, a lot of times we'll see somebody do a video and we like, man, that shit was, that nigga, intrinsically you thinking, damn, if that nigga would have paid me and I had that nigga equipment or that nigga talent, I would have did X, Y, Z. And so instead of just thinking that, it's better to just act on it. So it's like, I'm trying to create a platform where, let's say I come in, boom, prompt. I might already have in my mind Josiah McDonald and the Southwest Dragons, you know what I'm saying? And how high is they ceiling? Are they as good as Are, you know what I'm saying? Are they as good as advertised? What are they realistic? You know what I'm saying? Are they, or we'll just keep it less controversial. Are they as good as advertised? Yes, they are as good as advertised in some ways. In some ways they overhyped, and just and at the end of the day, this shit is a business, and it's like you see the sensitivity at which these parents approach this shit, and it's like there's an entitlement of like, oh, because my son is my son and I love him, we should uh we should encourage them. Encouragement is not always you telling somebody. The encouragement is the analysis of everything somebody needs to do to be successful. So if you need to work on something, I agree that with that though, the tone, I agree with kids because they emotional, and that's just a fact of it, and that's why when I see all these bald headed black niggas with beards, getting on the internet just complaining all the time, it's like, bro, um, your anger is misguided. And even if, like black niggas need to learn like you got to stop being so emotional your damn self. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of times the most successful people, most business owners understand their consumers have issues. That's why they coming to you. If the motherfucker could do it themselves, they would. You know what I'm saying? If they had the capacity. And so a lot of these people can do for themselves. They just need assistance. So if you get in this business, it's about taking the emotions out of it. And that even takes a skill of like, even let's just say I'm dealing with Max George's mom, right? And I'm trying to tell her something and she's just getting impatient. It's my job to understand this woman. She's impatient, and to get to her, yes, ma'am, I understand. Like, you have to just understand. You know what I'm saying? You have to already come into it and you have to have some authority about yourself and say, listen, ma'am, I understand what you're saying. And you got to be able to show them. It's like a doctor can show you, I know why you're screaming because this, that, the third. So you should stop screaming because I know. You have to establish that to people. So it's like you have to establish that you have some type of expertise. So that's something I had to get better at. But where all of this correlate and just get, when you want to have a brand being an authority. So if you want to get on the internet and you want to convince people that you know what you're talking about, you have to establish credibility, introduce your expertise. Boom. You know what I mean? Just keep it short and simple, and emotionally understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The way you're going to speak to somebody who's missing a leg, like they just got in a car crash, they leg damn half off, is going to be different than to somebody, eating some hot wings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a different tone, and that just comes with presentation, and that's just in the form of production, and it take a lot of practice. A lot of these niggas, they think a lot of niggas don't want to practice. I'm even like that, and that's what I'm learning. You gotta live this shit. You gotta be a machine with this shit. You gotta breathe this shit. You gotta die, breathe, sweat, shit, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta sit down. You gotta write shit down. You gotta watch film that you know you need to watch that you might not feel like watching, or you just gotta fight the urge to do everything the lazy way, because for every shortcut is a shortcoming. And that's like even with these things, bro. Like do I want to go to a nigga like Eric and be like, hey, yeah, let's just do this, but I gotta sit there and I gotta assess it first, because once I put the idea out there, that energy is gonna come back to me. Hey, man, when we gonna, I'm just learning how the information right at first. You know what I'm saying? How the information first. That's all I'm gonna keep drilling, is how the information first. That's why whenever y'all ask me something, it's the first thing I say, what do you mean? because I can assume what you mean, but if you coming to me, it'll be easier for me to help, and give an answer when I have all the information. Give me all the information first. Give me as much information as possible. And that's what I want to build a platform off of. It's just I'm sitting down, I'm talking, and I don't even want to say a platform, a program. I want to make a bunch of different programs because I already have a platform, but I'm kind of already making a platform of my platform. But just where I could sit here and I could just produce content that's based on me speaking on things and then showing the evidence and then promoting that evidence and sharing that information and pushing and promoting the information. And I just need people to understand the only reason my face is attached to it and I'm attached to it is to establish the credibility. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of niggas hide behind a logo. You know what I'm saying? To give your opinion behind a logo, I think that's kind of weak. I think it's smart, but I think it's a sign of weakness because it's like the person wants to be detached from the ideas expressed. You know what I'm saying? Because people know it's harder for people to take you serious when they looking directly at your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you hiding behind an account, okay, cool, I'm just dealing with your information. But then once I see who run the account, now I'm going to start questioning and assessing what is your experience with this information that you're presenting. You know what I'm saying? If you got a page about rebounding, right? And I'm like, okay, this motherfucker on point. It's just an informational page. I can agree or disagree. But then once I see you 4'3" Filipino dude and you trying to tell niggas about rebounding, I'm like, oh, this gotta be some shit. You just a nigga collecting information, which you might know what you're talking about, but then I'm gonna understand, okay, this is all observational. All your data is observational. So all this shit matters. And what I'm trying to tell y'all is you got to think this way because whenever you, like, y'all only think about the bright side of like, oh, yeah, then this person will see it and then the platform gonna take off. But this one I'm trying to tell you, once your platform take off, the more haters you're gonna get, the more critics you're gonna get. So the more your shit need to be on point. The more your packaging need to be on point, the more your presentation need to be on point. So you could look at it and say, all right, boom, I'm dealing with prolific prep, this, that, the third. But what's the turnaround time on highlights? What's the turnaround time on interviews? Is the is this gonna what's the standard or what's the middle ground of branding to where what's the style of branding that basketball players, you know what I'm saying, do? Like what do they repost? What do they feel like the look that they're going after? Because it's all numbers behind this type of shit. And so it's like before you do something, you gotta think of shit like that. Because every opportunity is the opportunity. Now you can make up opportunities, you know what I'm saying? They come and go. So it's like that's what you gotta to understand. But as far as just, getting on the internet, doing things, it's like that's what younger niggas do, bro. It's like young niggas who come in and they just get hot from the field. You know what I'm saying? Because they know their game. But then you got a vet like Steph. Like you look at 2015 Steph, he just coming down. If he feeling it, he shooting it. You know what I'm saying? This Steph, he pace himself because he know he gonna have to play most of the games. He know, damn, if I miss that three, we gonna go down 4. with this time, it's more calculated. You know what I'm saying? So, but that come with putting in the work to get them calculations. So that's why I'm telling y'all niggas. I'm like, everything we do, we just gotta document in some way. Me, I'm the type of nigga, I'm tired of typing shit. Typing shit, that shit take too much time. Like going on my story saying, Lil James this and Josiah, you know, no. You know what I'm saying? I could do that, but I study shit and it's more effective when you put a face to shit. Like, let's say a nigga like Gilbert Arenas. I used to hate Gilbert Arenas shit until I realized it's just his opinion. You know what helped me realize it's just his opinion? The production of his shit. Even though I know it's just his opinion, when you read words, there's so many social cues and communication cues that you're missing. You know what I'm saying? Is he laughing? Does he know he's stupid? Is like a lot of shit Gilbert say is brand building for himself. Like he got things that he think personally and he just gonna, you know, he's putting them out into the atmosphere. You know, and that's his right to do. But the thing about him, he's open to being challenged, you know? And so like him, he has a deficiency. Like he's like, where's the stats behind it? This and that. Like for instance, the other day, that nigga Brandon put, you know, what's his name, Podensky on the Warriors. He took a shot and niggas is like, oh, his percentage is this and that. That's not how statistics work. You know what I'm saying? Where's the statistic for him shooting that shot with that amount of time left and that magnitude of a game on that day? We don't know what he ate. You know what I'm saying? There's so many statistical factors that go into that. And the lack of data we have even goes into more of the less data you have on something, the more risky it makes the action. So the fact that he came down and shot that and he's never been in that situation before, or, you know, he's been in situations like that and hasn't behaved like that, that makes it a high risk situation. Which you might say everybody's like, well, if it was Steph, well, here's the thing. Steph is more proven in high risk situations than Brandon. So he's more, how you want to say, like more competent of performing and more capable. He's more qualified. Let's just say that. He's more qualified to, that's the word we gotta say. Capable is different than qualified, but he's more qualified to perform in that environment. And so these are the actual logical, analytical basketball assessment things, but it's like we're going to have to brand build those things. You know what I'm saying? Those are unpopular things to take into account, but they're the correct things. So when the correct thing is unpopular, that's when there's an opportunity to make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Because you like, yo, it's niggas out here running up doing the wrong shit. Imagine when I come in here with the right shit. I'm a kill, because everything in life is results driven. So if you getting good, if you getting you getting good results doing the wrong thing, I'm gonna get immaculate results. It's like when you see a good fighter get his ass beat by a master level fighter. Yeah, you doing a, because a good fighter is just taking advantage of being better than their competition. But that's where you have standard, you know, standard deviation, and it's like statistical shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if we got a group of 40 niggas, right, and 36 of them are on a D level, and the two niggas that's on a C and B level, they're like in the top whatever percent of their class. But their level is their level. So if you put them in a different class, they would, if you put them in a class of people with higher ranks and higher abilities, they go down into a lower percentile range. And for some reason, people, I guess that's like a standard SAT question. A lot of niggas fail to fucking comprehend that, and that's why you get a lot of people who they just avoid math. They avoid logic. Math is just, numerical logic. And so we're in a game of math. Life is about math and in writing and reasoning and ration, you know what I'm saying? And science. So it's like, it's no different. I mean, it's a little different than creating a school project because the time limit is forever with these goddamn resources. Niggas got cameras. That's like I had to ask my nigga, I'm like, bro, you ever thought about getting a camera, this and that, the third? And I'm just like, I feel like niggas be leaving a lot of shit on the table. You know what I'm saying? Cause all I see is people watching what? Reels, videos. You know what I'm saying? Because people want what? Access to information. And so high school, guess what? In high school sports, there's an opportunity for independent parties. There's actually an abundance of information to dispense. So you can make a lot of money serving a lot of different communities. Because guess what? Even if a school is trash, they have a school of 300 people at least. And that's what, 600 parents that want that information. So if you do the numbers, any audience, if you got 600 views on your story today, you can already see that 600 niggas I got their attention. That's 600 niggas I could do something for. You know what I mean? So it's about identifying those communities and those subsets. Like me, I'm identifying there's a lot of parents out here. So there's a problem. There's a major problem out here, right? There's a lot of people spending a lot of money. And then when you ask the community, and that goes with investigative analysis of like investigating your market. Okay, boom. So high school sports, what is the goal? The goal is kids getting to college, getting exposure. Why? So they can get to college and they can get, economic reasons, right? Economic security through athletics. So what is the main issue? A lot of parents, right? They want what? Video services, film services. Why? Because they want their kid to get coverage and they want to use the coverage and the videos to get exposure and get their kid to college. Financial security. So parents got money, they spending money to get a result. What's going wrong? A lot of different things. Parents are spending the money and their kid is running into the same issue as what? The politics of the kid, there's a certain there's a certain level of kids or a certain number of kids that have the privilege of being part of the systems that ensure and give them an advantage as far as recruiting and exposure. So there's a certain amount of spots and they damn near already filled. Everything is influenced by connections. So parents are trying to pay for the ability to compete for influence. So here's the thing. We already know how much motherfuckers is spending on sports. So if we can convince some people, hey, you spending this money here, if you would take that money, that same amount of money, and put it here, you get to where you go faster. Right? We don't got to convince these people to spend the money because they're already spending it. Or here's the thing, a lot of them are spending it and they thinking about stop spending it. But if we could say, listen, you done already spent this much. So if you stop spending, all of that money was a waste. You get what I'm saying? But if you keep going at the rate you was going and you just switch that here, here, you can get a return on your investment. That's the business we in. You know what I'm saying? You guys are spending on money on all these trainers and all these videos and all these photographers, but it's in the wrong format for scouting. Yeah, I understand this looks good, this and that, the third, but here's what has this is what has more long-term real life effects. Boom. So then what? Like me, I'm trying to get into, you know, promoting, skill development. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to partner with the best skills trainers out here. You know what I'm saying? As an independent liaison, promoter, whatever, independent party of networking, just networking the development of youth, you know, from middle school and up, I guess. I don't know. Really, I'm going to focus on just high school. So if you're good enough to play high school, then you're going to be on my radar because that's my expertise. You know what I'm saying? Most of the training I ever did was for high school sports. You know what I'm saying? So that's the highest level I done played at. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm going to focus my attention. You know what I'm saying? Making content about that, dominating that, educating myself on the industry of that, and then being associated with it. And so then once I create that association and people understand, and people are accepting or aware of my effort to be experienced in that area, that's where you earn your credibility. Like, okay, one thing I say is this nigga be on that shit. He might be wrong about this and that the third, but that nigga be on it. So even if I'm on it and I'm showing earnest effort, niggas is gonna be like, look, I disagree with this, but you know, that nigga's open. Eventually that nigga gonna figure it out. He's gonna be successful, you know? And that's just all it's about. And just being open and being a person and being able to say, hey, I was wrong about this. I was right about this. This is what I think about this. This is what I think about that. It's based on this. It's based on that. I saw this. I'm not sure about that. What do you guys think about this? This is something I haven't thought about. Da 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 da. And you edit it. You record it. You make sure the audio is right. You put some captions on it. You organize it. You make sure you brush your teeth, brush your hair, cut your hair, however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Format it. And you post it and you market it towards the people who care, and you just be persistent and you promote it when you feel in a way that is going to be presentable to people. And then when you go places, you show people that that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? When somebody comes up to you, say, oh, I got a platform, this and that, this is what I do. Then people can connect with you when they're not there. And now they know you in real life. They done met you. So now they follow you on internet. And then so when they think about somebody that is associated, they more willing to share you because they met you. They feel, they know you exist. They've seen you at the, they've seen you in the act. And so that's all it is to that shit, bro. But then when I see all these niggas doing all this extra shit, like everybody think they're a retweet or a tweet away from what? You know what I'm saying? Then niggas want to get mad when somebody come and take your platform or take your idea and run with it. When it's like you got the same ideas as everybody else, you just running on the internet tweeting it. You putting words behind it, but Words are just words, my nigga. Yo, Core. This nigga, this nigga Lil Will, his wrestler out here. He 25 and he asking me, do I know something he can get into? I guess nah, here, I guess that's his way of asking me, am I gonna link with that nigga or do I know? I'm like, man, he got a pro wrestler he managed. But see, I just thought about it. Shit, we could link up with the nigga on Thursday or something, go out with the nigga to the club, bring the cams, you know what I'm saying? That's a pro athlete, nigga, you know what I'm saying? He a brew too. He 25. His name Milo Rush or something like that. You know, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. We in the entertainment business, so when you can, you know, align yourself and associate yourself with, hey, I know a nigga, he making such and such off of pro wrestling. Then who knows? We might can get with this brew. He a brew too. You know what I'm saying? We might can set up little camps out here, get him a little bag and say, hey, it's Texas, man. Because here's the thing, a lot of these niggas on the wrestling team, it's not a lot of money in Olympic or college wrestling. It's all, you know, but now you got NIL, you know what I'm saying? And this nigga was in the WWE before. And he rap and sing.